If you would, please raise your hand in the Zoom function and we'll get this started. All right, Gustavo.
Tamir, what do you see the difference between the last season and this season? How you feel the difference between, like, your performance, how you see yourself coming up to this season?
So for this season, one thing that I was focused on was just being more physical in the post and getting stronger. Getting the weight room with Ty. So I think that is one of the differences too. And I think the game has slowed down for me a lot compared to last season. So I think those are a couple positives that I'm glad worked out for me going into my sophomore year.
Maria.
Tamari, how have you as a person and then you as a teammate dealt with all of the uncertainty of this season and making sure that you still stay focused on the fact that you plan to be able to take the court?
Well, I think for us, just knowing that everybody is in the same situation that we're in right now, making the best of our situation, still going hard in practice. It's easier now knowing that our schedule is about to be out soon. It's very exciting, but just continuing to go hard in practice and then being there for each other and our teammates during quarantine and stuff like that, trying to keep our spirits uplifted for the season.
Take a question from Will Backus.
Yeah, Tamari, you mentioned, working on being more physical and, blocks were something that you were pretty great at last year, but with that came foul trouble. I guess, have you worked on maybe being a little bit more disciplined in that style of play?
Yes, for defense, just blocking shots and not jumping. My coach always tell me when I put my arms up that's enough. Even if I don't block the shot, altering the shot is still big. So I think I've gotten a lot better with not fouling as much on defense.
Gustavo.
You said you're excited about the scheduling coming up, but there's one game you guys already know you guys are going to play against UConn in January. How excited you are to play this big matchup, this rivalry game at Thompson Bowling Arena?
We're very excited. We know that's going to be a good game for us, and we're playing at home too. Though we are limited fans, it's always fun to play big games like that on our home court. So we're looking forward to it.
Maria.
Tamari, the post position looks to be a source of strength this season. Obviously, you're now a sophomore. That makes a tremendous difference, a whole year of experience. Cassie has gotten in better shape. She's talked about that. Emily will be a sophomore. You're also adding Key and Green. Just tell us a little bit about the post players and how you guys are doing and how you're pushing each other in practice.
We've been working hard. We all work really well together. I think Kian was a great addition for us. I love her. I'm excited for us. We're doing some really great things in practice and when we've been scrimmaging as well. So I just can't wait to get on the court and start playing like actual games.
Will.
Yeah, are you kind of thankful that you got to start those 29 games as a freshman to get that experience under your belt? And I guess what were some of the biggest lessons that you learned as you, grew over the course of last year?
It was exciting for me. Coming in as a freshman, I really wasn't expecting to start. But being able to start for 29 games, I think helped me just kind of get a feel for the game more as a freshman, and especially in the conference with the veteran post players and banging around with them in the post. So overall, I think it just helped me in the long run, kind of gave me an advantage for the next 3 years I have at Tennessee.
Any other questions for Tamari? Maria?
Tamari, you also have depth at the point guard spot now. Obviously, Jordan Horston, your fellow sophomore, coming back. Jordan Walker transferring in. And then also new freshman Destiny Salary can provide some backup because post players don't score unless the guards get them the ball. So how are y'all looking on the perimeter right now?
We're big on getting post touches. Our coaches have been emphasizing post touches. We do better when we get the ball in the post, whether we score or they cut off of us and they get a layup. So I think our guards have been sharing the ball really well, and I'm excited for that. I'm really excited.
One other quick question. Kelly has said she wants to run the floor. She wants a fast tempo. Is that a style of play that you think this team is going to be well suited for this season?
Yes. I think we get downhill pretty well. In practice, we drill that every possession, even when we're scrimmaging too, to just go get downhill. And I think Kelly has been pretty happy with how we've been doing so far.
Any final questions for Tamari?
Hey, Tamari, I have a question. Last year, there was a lot of emphasis in the post game, kind of picking off Maria right now, with Cassie Kuchkutawa getting faster and stronger in the weight room. So talk about how you guys have just kind of held each other accountable in the weight room with speed and agility and also strength heading into your sophomore season.
Ty's been getting us right in the weight room, which is to be expected from him. He's a great strength and conditioning coach. We've been running a lot since we got back in June. So we've really just been putting a big emphasis on staying in the weight room and getting good conditioning, so we'll be in good game shape and be strong for the season.
All right, any final questions for Tamari? All right, thank you, TK.
Thank you.
Jessie Rennie, if you have questions for Jessie, please use the raise hand feature in Zoom and we'll take your questions. Maria.
Jessie, I know it's a question you've been asked a lot, but obviously you went home, had to go home to Australia after the season ended, and then you were able to get back and then had to go into quarantine. Were you ever nervous that you may not be able to travel? And how relieved were you to get to Tennessee and get through all of the protocols in quarantine?
Yeah, obviously when everything went down back in March and everything just shut off really, really quick, I found I could go home. I had to wait around in Knoxville for about a week before I could actually get a flight back home. But I was pretty lucky to get out of America because they shut down everything really quick. So once I got out, I got back home. I was home for a couple of months, which was really, really nice. It was good to go home. Then coming back, the same kind of situation. I got out just before Australia closed down their borders. So I was really lucky to get back just before they closed everything off. Because I know a lot of other Australian girls had trouble actually getting back and have only just got back recently in the last past 2 months. So I'm lucky, I'm fortunate that I got back early so I didn't miss any workouts. Obviously I missed about a week of workouts for quarantine, but other than that, I was fortunate that I didn't miss too much.
Gustavo.
Jessie, how much contact or how much influence Lou Brown had with you here on Rock Top? You both being Australians, playing, you and her freshman, and then she left Rocky Top, on this midst of pandemic. How much you two kind of get together on this time?
Yeah, no, Lou, from the get-go, she was an influence for me. Before I even got here, she was helping me out with FaceTime calls and everything before I moved to the States. So just everything she did, she would help me also do. Little things, big things, all that type of stuff, which was really, really helpful. And I still keep in contact with her now. She's doing great back home, so it's really good to have her here. And I'm trying to help Marta with the same things, international stuff, all the extra little things you've got to do, and just getting used to life in a whole different country. So it's cool to be able to pass that on to someone else as well.
And I know you girls probably are anxious to know your whole schedule, but at least there's one game you guys going to play against UConn, and you played last season against them. How excited you are to play this big matchup in women's college basketball?
Yeah, obviously the schedule isn't out, and I know we're all, excited and nervous and just ready for it to be out because it's not far away. But the UConn matchup, like last year, it was just amazing. Playing in front of that many people against such a big school, it's something you dream of, honestly. But playing at home this year, obviously the crowd's going to be limited, but I think it's going to be really, really cool getting to play such a good team, and it's just going to be amazing to play it on our home court. So really, really excited, and I know everyone else feels the exact same way. So ready for that.
Question from Will Backus.
Hey, I know you already mentioned, you talked to Marta a lot, as obviously, you kind of taken on the role that Lou Brown did for you last year. I guess, how has y'all's relationship developed, through the quarantine and then now in person? And what is some of the biggest pieces of advice that you've given her?
Yeah, well, I think honestly, Marta from as soon as she got here, she's very independent. I think that comes with international students. Like you really have to be. You're away from home. You don't have your family here. You kind of get thrown into it and just have to learn to cope with things like that. But from the start, I think we just connected straight away. Honestly, just being in different countries, we're both in the same position. I had a bit more experience, obviously, being a sophomore this year. But I'm really proud of her. Like she fits in really well and has done so quite quickly. She's been practicing really well and fits in with the group. Like, it's really good to see that.
Maria.
Jessie, the late Al McGuire, a legendary coach, said the best thing about freshmen is they become sophomores. And you got 4 sophomores. For you personally, how have you been able to get better? Your confidence was visibly rising last season. I mean, everybody could see it on the court. How are you able to get better this off season, and how confident are you going into this
absolutely.
season?
Having 4 of us, stay together and move up each year together is pretty special, and I think it's really cool. But obviously, like you said, my confidence began to grow at the end of the season last year, making more shots, just being more confident to shoot the ball more. And as soon as I came back this year, everyone is behind me, like I've said in other interviews and things. Like everyone wants me to shoot the ball. They're confident for me to shoot the ball, and they're not happy if I don't shoot it. That gives me the confidence to do that. And I think that's growing every day in practice, and even more confident to contribute other ways now, driving, pull-up shots, stuff like that. So my confidence is honestly growing every day, and I'm really excited for the season.
Other questions for Jessie? Maria?
Jessie, it's going to be different, of course, for home games with capacity capped at 4,000. And I know that like Marta said, she'd only played in front of about 15, 20 people. So 4,000 seemed like a big crowd. But what do you, in some cases, you're really going to have to create your own energy for games. Have you guys talked about what this season could look like in terms of communication and like I said, creating your own energy, because the game day environment is going to be much different?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be different. And obviously, we've heard things. We don't know for sure yet. It's something I think we're going to experience as we get into it. But I think definitely creating our own energy is going to be something we're going to have to do. I know the crowd that is here is going to be behind us and support us no matter what, know how big or small that crowd is. But I think for us ourselves, we're already creating that energy at practice every day. And I think that's definitely going to carry over into the games for us. So we're on the right path with that. So I think that'll be good. And we just got to keep it going in the games for sure.
Any final questions for Jessie? Okay, thank you very much, Jessie.
Thank you.
A question from Maria Cornelius.
Emily, I've asked this of the other sophomores. The late Al McGuire said, the best thing about freshmen is they become sophomores. How are you better as a sophomore? What did you do in this off season? And what is your outlook on the post game going into this season?
Me personally, I've been working on my strength and stuff in the weight room and on the court, and definitely my quickness, definitely something I've stressed over the summer. And I think I've really grown in that area, and also gaining more confidence on the court as well. And honestly, us sophomores, Jessie, TK, and Jordan, we've all really grown in those areas as well. And so I feel like it's really going to help us in the season.
Gustavo?
I asked the other 2 players. I know there's a lot of uncertainty with scheduling. It's going to come out soon, but there's one game you guys know you guys going to play against UConn at home. You guys play again against them last season. You're a freshman. How excited you are to play at Thompson-Boling Arena, or the biggest games in the college women's basketball season against UConn?
Oh, we're so excited for that game. Going to UConn last year, we saw a really crazy Lady Ball fan base come out. So, if that was at UConn and the fan base we're going to have here at Tennessee, it's going to be awesome. Just an amazing experience, I feel like.
Will Backus?
Yeah, when you look at this post position, it's one of the deepest on the team. There's obviously you, then you've got Tamari, and then Kean as a new addition. I guess what has the level of competition been at that position throughout practice, and how has it helped you grow personally?
Battling with Kean's strength is a whole new level because she's probably the strongest on the team. She came in with confidence. So, I mean, I feel like that's something that has really helped me because battling with her has been good for me, as well as TK and Cassie. Cassie's gotten stronger. TK's gotten stronger. We're really deep in that position. So.
Maria.
Emily, the team has a little bit more maturity this season just because the roster has gotten older. You guys are sophomores. Renaya's a 4-year senior. Cassie's a 4-year senior. What is the leadership like right now? And part of that question is during all these COVID-19 protocols, you guys have to hold yourself accountable to stick to them. And it's a credit to the team that y'all have been able to do that without having any incidents of players getting, having to be quarantined because of it. So just talk a little bit about the leadership of this team and maybe how it's different than, say, a year ago when you were a freshman.
Well, I definitely feel like everyone, like as an individual, we all like take accountability for each other and we show up for each other. We push each other every day in practice in the weight room. And I feel like it's not just one individual person being the leader. I mean, we have our few that really they stand out, but I just feel like everyone does a really good job of holding each other accountable, and that really helps.
Madison Blevins, did you have a question?
Nope, I'm good. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Any additional questions for Emily? Maria?
Emily, I want to know when you guys saw your new uniforms and what the team reaction was to them.
We saw that baby blue on there, and that was awesome. Yeah, I was so excited to see that. I had a feeling that when they said we were getting new uniforms, we'd have some baby blue in there. But when we saw it for the first time, it was so pretty. It looked so good. So.
One quick follow-up. You mentioned the crowd atmosphere. Of course, it's going to be different this year with capacity having to be capped at about 4,000. What I'll also ask Jessie this, you guys may have to create your own energy in some cases, even though I expect those 4,000 to be loud. Have you guys talked about how the whole game atmosphere could be different? And how do you guys get ready for that?
Well, we haven't really talked about that, but during practices, I feel like our energy level has been really, really high, especially these last few weeks leading up to the season. So I feel like when we carry that over to games and the bench is really excited and we're all really into it, that'll definitely help. So.
All right. Is there any other questions for Emily? Will Backus, one final question.
You mentioned bringing energy from the bench. I guess as a freshman playing in that reserve role, what were some ways that you learned that you can contribute even if you're, not necessarily on the court consistently on a week-to-week basis?
Just supporting my teammates, giving a high five when they're coming to the bench. Jessie makes a three, stand up and do our 3-point celebration. Cassie takes a charge. Lou takes a charge like she did last year. But just stuff like that, just showing excitement, enthusiasm on the bench. I think that really, really helps the girls that are on the court.
All right. Thank you very much, Emily. Use the hand raise feature in Zoom and we'll start taking questions. First question from Maria, please.
Ray, it's hard to believe, but you're already a junior. And I know it probably seems like it's going fast. Just this team is older this season. You got 2 4-year seniors, 2 graduate transfers. Just talk a little bit about y'all's maturity overall and how you think this season can play out for you guys.
Yeah, I think having more upperclassmen is going to help us a lot this season just because we're a lot more experienced and the leadership is a lot more there. So I think that's going to help a lot with just games.
And a quick follow-up, how have you gotten better? How has your game gotten better in the off season?
I feel like I've just been really working on being more under control when I'm making decisions and just continue to work on rebounding, and then I'm trying to get my assists up as well, and also my free throw percentage.
All right, we'll take a question from Gustavo.
Ray, how excited you are for this season? You know, you started the final 9 games last season. You were the top reserve for the first 22 games. You know, how you feel coming up to this season after you finished very well last season?
I just hope to keep the momentum going from last season into this season and just work on the areas that I need to work on to get better and do what I can to help my team win.
And a quick follow-up. You know, there's a lot of uncertainty with scheduling, but there's one game you guys know you guys going to play against UConn at home in January. And how excited you are to play since you guys play against them last season?
I'm excited to play against them. It's just been a rival that's been there for how many years now, so it's a fun game to play.
All right, question from Will Backus, please.
Yeah, Ray, you mentioned, you know, keeping the momentum going from last season, but with the pandemic and everything and being away from the team for a portion of the spring and a lot of the summer, I guess, what were some difficulties you encountered with that? And I guess, how did you try to keep that momentum going, you know, while being away from the team?
Some difficulties that I encountered was just like the gyms being closed and not being able to get into a gym for a long time. But luckily I had my cousins and they have like their own gym in their garage. So I had been working out there like almost every day with them over the quarantine.
Maria.
Ray, when the season just suddenly ended last March, what was the disappointment level for the team and for you?
The disappointment was just really just not being able to play in the tournament, because I feel like that was something we were really looking forward to, since it's like a clean slate for everybody and just really getting to show what you can really do like without the record and whatnot. So just not being able to play in the tournament.
And a quick follow-up on that, does it make you even more grateful that you're going to be able to start this season, even if everything does look so different?
Yeah, it does make me grateful that we're still able to play even without everything going on. Luckily, we have like a big arena, so if it's only 20%, we still have quite a few fans.
Will?
You know, it's already been mentioned that there's not a lot of youth on this team as compared to years past, but, you know, the 2 freshmen that you guys got, Tess Darby and Marta Suarez, they could kind of fill similar roles to you. I guess, how have you taken them under your wing, and how have you developed as a leader this year?
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of that question.
Oh, I was just saying, you know, there's not, as we've already said, there's not as much youth on this team as in years past, but 2 of the new players, Marta Suarez and Tess Darby, kind of have similar game to you and size and maybe the way they play. I guess, how have you taken them under your wing and developed as a leader there?
I've just been really helping them with practice, just because I already know all the plays and how coach really wants us to play. So I've just been trying to help them mold in with the team.
Maria.
Ray, I want to know, when you guys first saw the new uniforms, what was your reaction to them?
Oh, I was really excited. I like how they incorporated just that little bit of baby blue within the V-line and in the shorts. I'm excited for when we wear them. I think we're going to look really good.
And a quick follow-up to that, you're not going to have the crowd you're used to, but obviously, you know, parents can still be there. About 4,000 fans can still be there. Nobody knows what it's going to sound like yet or look like yet, or even if there'll be music piped in, but communication on the floor will still be so important, and creating your own energy will be important. How are you guys approaching this season, realizing you're not going to be playing in front of the thousands of fans you're used to playing in front of?
I think we're just going to do our best of trying to create energy off of each other, and just, I mean, I feel like the crowd will still be creating good energy for us, but I feel like we're really going to need to depend on each other to create good energy.
Will?
Yeah, with the expectation of potentially being in the starting lineup for game 1, have you noticed your preparation for this season change in any way, or does it feel pretty much the same as it has in years past?
I feel like it's changed somewhat, but I feel like for the most part it's been the same. Just making sure I'm being in the gym and getting my extra shots up, and then just going hard every day in practice.
What were some of those ways specifically that you've noticed it change a little bit?
Wait, sorry, can you repeat the question?
I just asked, what were some of those ways that you've noticed it change specifically in your preparation?
Oh, in my preparation. I mean, not much has changed. I guess just I don't know. I guess just getting more shots up.
Maria?
Ray, we've heard that Kean Green is willing to take quite a few charges. Has that been proven true all preseason? And does that energize the team when the post player like Kean is the one drawing the charges?
Yeah, I feel like it definitely energizes the team to have somebody out there that can take charges. I've actually been taking a lot of charges during this preseason as well too. So having two people out there that take charges is gonna, I feel like, make a difference.
What's the difference for you and being able to take more charges right now? Is it positioning, or is it just kind of more understanding of where you need to be on the floor?
Yeah, I think it's just more where I position myself and understanding like when I can take one.
Madison Blevins?
Hey, Ray, something that Coach Harper has really harped on with you is just how refreshing it is to have a player of your caliber that can play the six-man role or come on as a starting position as well. Just what pride do you take in your game and the ability of you just being able to come in and kind of take over the game as well?
I feel like just bringing energy into the game and getting our team going, because sometimes like they can get a little bit. Sorry, can you repeat the question?
No, you're good. Just your ability to make an impact, whether you're coming off the bench as a six-man or falling into that starting role like you did towards the end of last season. Just what pride do you take in your individual game and your ability to kind of just like turn things around for the Lady Vols?
Okay, yeah. So basically, like what you just said, just turn things around when energy's not really there as much, and just getting out there and getting the energy back up.
Also, you just make such a big impact on the offensive and defensive glass, averaging almost 6 rebounds per game at the end of last season. How are you kind of getting these newcomers in the right mindset of the effort and just the ability it takes to go crash the glass every possession like you do?
Yeah, I feel like really just showing by example, just crashing every single play. I feel like them seeing that and seeing the impact that it makes when that happens inspires them to do it as well.
It's obviously been a non-traditional preseason for you guys, but how have you guys as a team kind of come together through these uncertain times that we might be able to relate that to the court play this season?
Well, for the off season over the summer, we had a lot of team bonding. We did team bonding like almost every Friday over the summer. So I feel like that really helped with our chemistry on the court.
Maria?
Ray, last thing for me, since media has obviously not been able to see the team in practice or anything this preseason, who's going to surprise us? Whose play is going to really open some eyes right now, in your opinion?
I feel like Kean Green is going to surprise some people just with how athletic she is, her offensive rebounds, the steals that she gets. Like, she's just all over the place on defense and offense. So I feel like that will surprise a lot of people.
Any final questions for Ray? All right, Ray, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.